Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Hey there, Rooted Facilitators. Eric Marvin here, bringing you today's just-in-time training for week 7 of Rooted. Guys, great job on everything you've been doing so far. You've really been killing it as facilitators, and your groups are doing amazing. Again, thank you for everything, for your commitment, for being willing to be here each and every week with Rooted and diving into the deep and sometimes very difficult conversations with a lot of the folks in your group. I just cannot tell you how proud I am of you, and truly I am blessed to be able to lead such an amazing group of leaders as yourself. So I wanted to say that real quick before we jump into this, but today we're going to do a video training because Sunday, this coming Sunday, whether I send it on Sunday or here in a few days, whatever that is, but Sunday's Father's Day, and I'm actually going to be in California on vacation, so that is why we are not having a just-in-time training, and I actually will not be there on Wednesday for Rooted either. I will be gone all next week, so I just want to give you a heads up on that so you're not caught off guard if you don't see me there. I'm not sick, I'm not out anywhere doing anything other than I'm just on vacation with family, okay? So just want to give you a heads up on that. So let's dive into the topic here for next week on Wednesday. You are continuing your discussion on how I can make the most of my life. So this is part 2 of that discussion. So last week you talked a lot probably about spiritual gifting and purpose and things like that, and service, and how do we do that effectively in the church. And so this is the week where there's going to be a couple of things that you're going to ask your group to do. And there's also going to be one thing that you yourself are going to do over your group this week during the discussion. So we're going to touch on both of those. But before we get into that, as always, guys, be thinking about things that you can celebrate. What are some things, without giving too much detail, that you would like to share with us? Some wins that you've seen, some maybe some ways that God has been moving in your group, and I would love for you to share them with all of us digitally if you feel led to do that. Send to the group text. Go ahead and send a quick little story about something that happened in your group. But just remember to always be looking out for those cool stories and those things that we can celebrate together, because it's just good for all of us to hear what God is doing in each and every one of our groups. So remember to do that every week if you can. So let's get into things to remember for this week. These are just some common things that you want to be thinking about moving into week 7 as the second part of how to make the most of your life. So the first thing is this. This is the thing I was talking about that you specifically will do over your group, and that is the prayer of purpose. So what you need to do with the prayer purpose, it's very simple. It's not very hard. You actually don't even have to prepare anything beforehand for this. This is simply when you guys come to your Rooted group on week 7, everyone should have completed their spiritual gift assessment, and they should know what their results of that assessment are. At least they should know their top 3 gifts. And what you're going to do as a facilitator is you're going to ask the group to go around and to share with the rest of the group what their top 3 gifts were. What were the results of their spiritual gift assessment? And so as everyone goes around and shares what their spiritual gift results were, what their gifting is, you as a facilitator just write it down on a piece of paper as you're doing that. And as soon as everyone else is done, then you specifically are going to go and walk around the room, putting your hands on the shoulders of every single person and praying over that person, and praying that God would specifically use them and use them with their gifts for His glory. It's as simple as that. These prayers do not have to be long. They do not have to be incredibly elaborate. They can be very simple, very short, very pointed, but they're very, very powerful because you're praying specifically that God would use that person and their gifting to do the thing that He has designed them to do. This is something that in the big overall message of Rooted, remember, it's connect with God, connect with the church, connect with your purpose. This plays a massive role in people finding their purpose, because when we understand our giftings and then we actually get to act out using the things that we're really good at, that really helps us find a sense of purpose. And so for you to affirm the gift and then to pray over that person about their gift is a really powerful thing. So make sure you do that. And again, it's not that hard. It's a very simple prayer. It might be a stretch for some of you because praying out loud might be kind of difficult, and it's specifically praying over a specific person and going around. I know it's going to be a stretch. So I'm asking you to trust me, trust in God. He's going to lead you through this, and it's going to be a really cool thing for you and for your group as well. You want to make sure someone is sharing their personal faith story. Remember, I mentioned this way back at the beginning that each week you want to encourage people to share their personal faith stories. I know a lot of you have been doing this, and that is great. There's probably some in your group that are still a little bit worried about this, maybe a little nervous and scared, and they're not really warming up to the idea of sharing their personal story to a group yet. And that's okay. We don't want to force them, but we do want to encourage it because it is part of the Rooted journey. And probably the best way to do this is just to remind people, not pointing anyone out. We don't want to point anyone out or do anything like that, but we just want to remind the group as a whole that if they want to experience Rooted and the full experience, that they would want to share their personal faith story with everyone in the room. And that just be a wise thing to do for everyone. So make sure you do that. All right. The next thing you want to do is you want to have, and this is the thing that you're going to have the rest of the group do, is you want to have every group member complete a serving card if they are not currently serving. So let me explain and elaborate a little bit more on this. So I gave you guys at week 6, you got a couple of cards that you could pass around to your group, and everyone was able to look at the different serving opportunities that they'll be able to sign up for. So now they should have completed their spiritual gift assessment. So this week what they're going to do is every single person in the room is going to get a card, and they're going to be able to complete that card with their spiritual gifts in mind. So it's a really cool way that they're not supposed to just select the thing that just is the most interesting to them. It's supposed to be, think about where God has gifted you, and where do you think you would fit best? Where do you think you would be the most effective serving here at Central? And then finding an opportunity, knowing now their spiritual gift, they can fill out that card accurately and then turn it back into you. Here's the thing about the serving cards though. These serving cards are not meant for people to fill out who are just wanting more information about serving. That's not what these cards are for. If you have someone who's really not ready to commit and all they want is more information about a certain thing, please very nicely ask them not to complete and turn in a card, because the way that we are approaching these cards is we are approaching these cards as people who are committed to serving in this opportunity at Central. And so when I input the card into our computer system, and then that sends a notification to the ministry leader who's going to reach out to those people, they are assuming that this person is ready to commit and ready to jump in and complete all the application process, and that this person is fully bought in. So that's the assumption that our ministry leads are making. Now, if we have a bunch of people who aren't fully committed yet and they just want more information, this is not the opportunity for that. If that is the case, if you have people that do just want more information, have them reach out to the office or go to the website or contact me personally. I will gladly walk through and give them as much information as they need to help them make an informed decision. But we don't want them to fill out a card because what that'll do is it'll really slow down the process for other people connecting into the ministry, because it will just have a lot more work to do in that sense. I hope that makes sense. If you guys have any questions about that and the reason why we have it that way, feel free to reach out to me. But the cards really are for people who are fully committed to serving. The other thing about the card is I highly recommend that they only select one option. I highly recommend that. Here's the reason. The reason is if they select more than one, when I input the card into the system, they're going to get multiple emails from multiple ministry leads expecting that person to invest in that ministry. So if they don't want to receive multiple emails from ministry leads and to do a ton of work, because our ministry leads are like chomping at the bit. They are ready to go. As soon as these cards get inputted, The ministry leads are going to be right away, they're going to be on the phone, they're going to be sending emails, they're going to be getting these people into the process to get them serving. And so if they're not ready to get multiple of those, then they only need to fill out one opportunity. Just mark their top one. If they mark 3 or 4, they are going to get bombarded with emails and questions and phone calls, and they're probably not going to enjoy that. That happened last year, and it'll happen again if people fill out more than one option. So remember, the card is for people ready to commit to serving, and they need to only select their top choice. Now, if that person commits to serving, they get into their top choice, they start serving, and they realize, I want to do a little bit more. Maybe they serve as a greeter on Sunday, but they want to also serve in a different ministry during the week because maybe they have a day that they want to do something during the week. We can help them do that later on, but for now, with these cards, it'd be best if they only selected one option, okay? So just remember those 2 things. Committed people ready to serve, ready to jump in, and only select your top option, okay? So you get those cards. You will get them from our facilitators, Sean and Autumn Breeden. Like I said, I won't be there on Wednesday, so Sean and Autumn Breeden will have the cards. They will make sure you get the amount of cards you need. And then as soon as your rooted group is over at 8 o'clock, the Breedens will collect the cards again. And so nobody will be taking cards home. Nobody's going to have to bring them back in. It's give the cards to your people that night, have them fill it out, select the one they want, and then take those cards back and give them to the Breedens that night. Because the next morning on Thursday morning is a servant minister is going to come in, and she is going to input all those cards into the computer system, and we're going to get this ball rolling for serving. Okay? If there's any questions about that, please email, text me, contact me. I will try to clarify anything about these serving cards if that does not make sense. Okay? Let me blaze through these next couple things really quickly, and then I will be done. If you have not completed your serving experience, please plan to do that this week. Make sure that's done as soon as possible. And then please remember to keep recording your group attendance. That's very important. If you haven't missed the last couple of weeks, remember you can go back and catch up on your group attendance, but please make sure you're taking attendance and you're recording that in the system each and every week. We really need that to be done. If you need help with that, please let me know. I will help you guys with that as best I can, okay? A look ahead real quick, as you can see the screen. Week 8 is a large group gathering, so we're going to be meeting in the student room that week all together for the first hour, and we'll receive some teaching via video with Cal. Eric Eamon might even be there to give some additional teaching. I'm going to have some things to say up on stage, but then we're going to split off into our groups for the final hour of week 8. So it's a little bit different, but it's kind of a nice break on week 8 to have that large group gathering, okay? Week 9, we're going to be filling out the white testimony cards. So there's nothing you need to really tell your people. I'm just prepping you for what's coming ahead so that you know. Page 75 of your facilitator guide if you want information about that. Week number 10 is when we do the prophetic prayer, page 112 of your facilitator guide. So remember to check that out, read about that. Remember, the prophetic prayer is not as scary as we think it sometimes is. It's very similar to the prayer of purpose, but it takes a little bit more preparation on the front end before you actually come to Rooted, so you actually come prepared with prayers, okay? The celebration for Rooted is actually on Sunday, July 14th, okay? So the final week 10 is whatever that be, July, whatever that is, 10th or 11th or something like that, that Wednesday. And that's week 10 of Rooted. And then we're going to do the celebration. The Rooted celebration is actually going to be the very next Sunday evening, okay? And it's going to be at the Mesa campus. So we're going to, Sunday night, I believe we're going to do it from 4 to 6 p.m., so it's going to be a little bit earlier. I'll update you that with more concrete information, but just make sure your people know that celebration is not on Wednesday, it's going to be on a Sunday, and it's going to be at the Mesa campus so that they can prepare for that. It should have been on their on the schedules that I gave you way back at the kickoff when we did that at Mesa, okay? Remember, keep be on the lookout for people who would want to be baptized at the celebration. We are going to do a baptism there. We're going to have an opportunity for that, and so If you have people that want to be baptized, please find out and let me know so that I can have our people prepared for those folks that would like to be baptized. And then finally, who is the future life group leader? Make sure you're constantly on the lookout for that person. If it's not you, then make sure that they are identified and that I know so that I can make sure that they're prepared to lead the life group afterwards. All righty. Let's see. Finally, some things to pray about, people that can, so that people can connect with the local body through service. We really want to make sure that people connect that way. It's going to be very helpful for them in their spiritual journey, and that the Holy Spirit empowers your group through the prayer purpose. The prayer purpose is such a powerful time, and so a prayer that we can keep in mind as we move into our prayer sessions this week is that that the Holy Spirit really moves through those prayers of purpose and really stirs the hearts of our people. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for sticking around. I know this video was a little bit longer and information heavy. Appreciate you sticking around, listening to everything I had to say. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, eric.marvin@centralaz.com. Send me a text message, 512-534-8677, and let me know if there's anything I can clarify. I'm going to miss you guys this week, seriously. Wish I could be there, but I will be on a beach in California, so I'm in a pretty good spot as well. So, all right, thank you guys. Love you all so much. Have a great one.